Hey guys, it's Ashley. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, thank you for stopping by. I hope you decide to subscribe or turn on post notifications or something. I don't know. Or maybe check out my other videos and then decide if this is a channel that you like. But if you're into speed builds, I think you'll like being here. So anyway, thank you to everyone that is here. I hope you stay tuned for the entire video because I talk maybe not a lot, but I talk quite a bit about the new pack that's coming out, which is the Cottage Living pack, which I'm super excited about. But anyway, we'll get to that later. If any of you that are new here want to kind of follow me on Instagram, maybe not all the way, but follow me on Instagram just a little bit. My handle on Instagram is ashleyyangelinaa with 2 Y's and 2 A's at the end of Angelina. That's also my name on the gallery, my bad. But anyway, now that we are past that, I wanted to tell you guys a little bit about this build and how I was inspired to build this build because, as you can probably tell, it is a little different looking. It's really small and it's tall as well. It almost looks kind of like a townhome to me in a sense, but basically we were just going through some stuff at my parents' and I came across this old painting that my grandma used to have at her house, and I was like, ooh, this is a really cute house. This would be perfect to build. And this is pretty much, maybe not spot on what it looks like, but so close to being spot on what it looks like. I had a little bit of issues with making these climbing plants that are next to the front door, making them look a lot like the ones in the photo, but the ones in the photo are, it's probably a realistic painting. I'm not really sure. I wouldn't be surprised if it is a real home somewhere in the UK or just somewhere in the countryside. I would imagine it being a real home. But basically, I was just inspired by that photo, and I will insert it up here for you guys to see. It's a really cute painting, and my mom was going to be getting rid of it, and I don't fully remember my grandma having it in her house. I'm pretty sure it was in her guest bedroom, which was mine and my cousin's quote-unquote bedroom when we visited her. So I think it was in there, but I was just like, why give this to Goodwill or something like that if I could just have this in my home one day? I don't know. I would imagine it'd be really cute in a bathroom or something. But anyway, that's how I was inspired to do this build, and I hope you guys like it. I hope you think it looks pretty spot on. There were some things on the outside that I wanted to change, but felt like it would be not too drastic of a change, I guess, but it just wouldn't look like the photo anymore. So I really wanted to stick with the way the photo looked, and that was kind of the whole point of this build. But anyway, in the picture, it actually looks a lot more like brick, but it's also very pink, and there's no good pink brick in this game, at least not in any of the packs that I own. So I was like, it's gonna be a pink house. So therefore, I kind of think of it as being a more girly house, but I mean, you do you. You can have whoever you want living here. And I don't know if you guys saw, but I did have the in-game dormers, the pre-built ones essentially. I guess they're kind of the roof decor and things like that. But one of them was kind of floating above the roof and I couldn't find a way to fix it. And then I got kind of frustrated. So I ended up making my own, and then I just figured that, well, I can just make a third story and kind of have it be this attic, and maybe it could be a little rec area, or we could even put a bed up there, or if your sim wants to have a pet or a child, they can have them up there. Well, I guess your pet can't go up there because how you get up there is with a ladder, and that won't work with your pet. So never mind on the pet thing. But, if you were having a toddler and you didn't want the toddler to leave their room, which they technically don't have to, as long as you put everything they need in there, then you could totally put a toddler up there. But anyway, I ended up making it a little painting / attic kind of area. But anyway, I made my own dormer, and I think it ends up looking really nice anyway. It doesn't look totally like the photo, but either way, it didn't look like the photo, even if I were to have used the in-game dormers. But I kind of imagined that this house would be perfect for a sim that loves plants and painting, obviously. Maybe it's an older sim, but honestly, I was kind of thinking older sim, and I think that was mostly just because this painting used to be my grandma's. So instantly in my head, I was like, well, my grandma really liked this painting, and I don't know. I just think it would be better for an elder sim, but also it could honestly be a young adult that lives here. It could be you know, any age sim, assuming that it's not just a child living here on their own, because you can't do that in The Sims. But this house does end up being 39,792 simoleons. It is 80 out of 100 tiles, so it does fit in with the tier 3 tiny home, which I was really happy to be able to do. I don't know if you guys saw my last week's video, but a while ago I did a poll where I asked you guys what kinds of homes you wanted me to build more, and you guys voted tiny home, and I did one tiny home last week, so I will link that down below if you guys want to check that out. If you're specifically here to look at tiny home builds, then this build is for you, and so is mine from last week. So maybe check that out in the description. I don't know. It is on a 30 by 20 lot. I forget. I want to say it's called Rustic Residence is the name of this lot. It is in Windenburg, and it's off in, I don't remember the neighborhood, but it's toward the back of the map, like kind of off to the left. If you know what that is, good for you. I'm so bad at the neighborhoods ever since that update. I don't really pay attention to those. But once we get to the outside, you'll see I use lots of debug plants, and I actually end up using a debug fence, which I very rarely do because, I don't know, I feel like free placing a fence, you'd think if anything it's like really easy, but personally I find it to be kind of challenging because I'm a little bit of a perfectionist when it comes to my builds, so it kind of frustrates me when things don't clip. But then again, I don't know, when it comes to the outside, I don't need all this customization, but on the inside of a home, I'm so down for the customization and things not clipping, but we will get to that. I have created the floor plan. The kitchen is pretty much done at this point. I guess, oh yes, so I put this really cute table here. I don't really use this table very often. I believe it is from, ooh, what is that from? Is it from Paranormal? I think it's from Paranormal Stuff Pack, or it's from City Living. I don't totally remember. I think it's Paranormal Stuff because it has a little tablecloth on it. So to me, that's like the table that you would put the crystal ball on or something. I don't know. I could be totally wrong. I don't really use that kind of gameplay. I honestly just have a normal like family home style sort of gameplay. So I could be totally wrong. My bad if I am, but I just love that tablecloth. This swatch is really cute. And I wanted to make this kitchen and just kind of this home in general more eclectic and unique. So that's why I mismatched the chairs, and I wanted to make, you know, the floors a little bit older because I feel like just a cottage in general is gonna be older. You know what I mean? Like the word cottage is just like the first word for home, I feel like. So it goes way back, and I just imagined that maybe this house hasn't had many renovations, and this is just kind of its first form, I guess. And so these are like the original floors, and maybe the paint's been touched up because I mean the shutters are really cute, and the front door is like nice and like pretty, like a pretty fresh color. I don't know. What do you guys think? But I felt like the country kitchen kit I had to use here just because to me it's very cottage-esque. So I had to use those, and the green swatch went really well with the front door and, you know, the inside of the windows as well as the outside of the windows here. So I had to do it. And honestly, country kitchen, I mean, it fits in really well, especially out here in Windenburg. And once we get the new pack, I think it'll work really well there as well because it's supposed to be like the Cotswolds in the UK. So to me, it's just, I think it'll kind of be a toss-up for me when it comes to me building in the new world. I'll either want to, you know, use the country kitchen kit, or I'll want to use the items that are from the new pack, which it's called Cottage Living, duh. I was like, why can't I think of the name? But what's the name of the world? I don't remember. Isn't it called like something on Bagley or Badgley? I don't know how to pronounce it. Do you guys know how to pronounce it? I'm getting really off track. My bad, you guys. But I often forget about the clutter from the country kitchen kit because it's under the sculptures category, which to me doesn't totally make sense. Like, I don't know. Does that make sense to you guys? I feel like it should be under clutter, or, you know, with like the kitchen miscellaneous items, like where it's the picture of the fruit bowl. Like, I feel like that's where it should be. I don't know. But here I'm just cluttering up the stairs, which all of this is super functional. I think I've done this once before, but I want to say maybe depending where I placed these items, I had issues with my Sims using the stairs, so I was a little skeptical about using them this time, but they work great. I've had my sim walk up and down the stairs multiple times. The sim that I play tested here with is actually my sim self, and my sim self adopted a dog a long time ago in the world of Brindleton Bay. You know how there's always like lots of strays around there. Well, anyway, long story short, it works for pets as well. I don't know, but figured I would just mention that just in case you do have a sim that wants to move in here that has a pet and or wants to adopt a pet. So I just figured I would mention that. Since we are just kind of landscaping right now, I guess I should probably mention one quick thing. If you do decide to download this build off of the gallery, again, my name is ashleyyangelinaa on the gallery with 2 Y's and 2 A's at the end of Angelina. But the green quote unquote juice bottle from the Debug catalog, it is on an open counter next to the sink, and it ends up being not functional, or ends up making that countertop not functional. So if you do decide to download this off the gallery, you'll either need to delete it altogether or just move it to another countertop or just somewhere else in the home. That was one thing I wanted to mention. And when I realized that at that point, I had already uploaded this build to the gallery once before, and someone downloaded it, and then I deleted it, and then I went in and re-uploaded it because I needed to change something. The mailbox wasn't functional, and then I was like, shoot, like now the countertop's not functional. So again, sorry, I guess that is kind of an unprofessional thing for me to do, but also I am mentioning it, so I guess it's better to mention it than to not mention it. So anyway, just know that if you do download this off of the gallery, I'm sure you saw too, I had placed an older, or like one of those smaller, older TVs. I believe they're from Eco Lifestyle, or are they from Strangerville? I think they're from Eco Lifestyle. I don't really know because I don't use them that often, but I just felt like this sim doesn't really care to watch TV much, so like a little TV would be totally fine, like the little one with the antenna. I don't know, thought it'd be cute. So this is kind of random, but we're still landscaping here and there's nothing like crazy going on in my build right now. But do any builders have tips on how to make your videos shorter? So I do cut out unnecessary stuff all the time because it's like, you don't need to see me place something and delete it and then place it and then delete it and then place it and delete it. Like little things that don't matter. What's the point of me even keeping in a video? You know what I mean? So I do stuff like that all the time, and I do customize my speed on here so it's not too fast, but it's not too slow either. If I slowed this down anymore, the video would be so long. You know what I mean? So I don't know how to make my videos shorter. I feel like I struggle having my videos be like 15 minutes or less, unless it's like an apartment renovation or something. So if anyone has any tips or tricks or anything like that, I would appreciate it, whether it's gameplay or editing. I don't know. I just need to, I don't know. I think just in general, I need to have more of a clear-cut idea of what I want to do in my builds. A lot of the times I get carried away when it comes to clutter and things like that. So I don't know. If you guys have any tips, just comment them down below, please. I would appreciate it. Or follow me on Instagram and send me a DM, we could be friends or something. But anyway, we are just kind of putting together this little garden area. I do end up placing a beehive over here so your sim can maybe have some fresh honey, or maybe they're into making candles or something. There's not a candle making table here, but they could always take it to the flea market and sell the beeswax cubes, or they could sell honey. I don't know, it would just be a cute idea, and I felt like it just kind of made sense to have bees. That way you can have your bees pollinate your plants, because after all, there are lots of plants, or at least a lot of room for plants. And if you do download this off the gallery, there are already some plants over there, and then I do place a few more planters over kind of in this general area that have flowers in them. So there will already be some plants growing for you and ready to harvest. And over here, I placed this little outdoor sink that I thought would be perfect. It has a little garden hose on the side, and it's just very outdoorsy. And I placed some Debug fruits and veggies in there because I just felt like it would be more realistic for your sim to, come out here, harvest some stuff, throw them in the outside sink so they can wash them before they cook or bake with them or something like that. I just thought it was a cute idea. I think I had seen someone in a Let's Play do that, and I was like, ooh, that's really a really cute idea. Like, this is why I need to watch more people's videos so I can get kind of inspired and not do the same things over and over again all the time. You know what I mean? I'm just placing down some more plants. Since I am placing some terrain paint right now, I wanted to mention that for whatever reason, I've had an issue with this, I believe at least in one of my builds before, but I, did all this terrain paint, not that I spent a ton of time doing it or anything, but to me, terrain paint just makes everything seem so much more realistic. I mean, those stones definitely pop more. Anytime your sim is walking, from point A to point B all the time, that area, especially if it's grass, it's going to get used a lot more and worn a lot more. So it only makes sense to, use terrain paint to your advantage. And when I uploaded this to the gallery, all of my terrain paint was gone, and I was like, I am not deleting this and uploading it again. So there's no terrain paint there, which is kind of irritating because I know it didn't take me a lot of time, but it's all in the details, you know what I mean? That's what makes a build special and unique and look really good. So that was a little frustrating. I don't know if it's a user error on my end. It totally could be. But anyway, if you guys have had some trouble with that as well, I'm sorry. It's kind of frustrating. But I'm sure you guys saw I did place one of the large planter boxes that I believe was from Eco Lifestyle. It already has plants in it and everything. I placed it in the bed of the truck over there, in that debug truck. And I figured it was maybe like an old truck that they don't use anymore, that they just decided to kind of make this really large, unique planter box. I thought that would be a really cool idea. Or they, have all these harvestable plants and different things like that. Maybe they go around the world and, harvest different plants. When I say world, I mean in Windenburg. I don't think it'd be easy to travel home with a ton of plants, but maybe they sell them at like a farmer's market or a nursery or something like that. Obviously, these things don't exist in game, but just, I'm trying to be creative in my head, and I just thought it would be cute. So maybe they loaded up the back of their truck and they're bringing it to the farmer's market this weekend, and they're going to sell all these plants, and maybe that's like how they earn a living. So basically it looks like we are pretty much done with the outside now. I might pop out there a couple more times and change a little bit here and there, but I'm just getting ready to start decorating the inside of the house. We're in the bedroom right now. This bedroom actually ends up being really cute. I like the way it turned out. I really wanted to put a double bed in here, but it was one of those things where I was like, well, after all, it is a tiny home, and I don't often build homes for just a single sim unless it's like an apartment or something like that. But homes I typically always make for a couple, or, for maybe like 2 or 3 random sims, whether they're roommates or friends or relatives, whatever, or family homes. Those are like my go-tos. And I couldn't fit a double bed in here unless I made the bathroom even smaller, and I didn't want to do that. So I was like, let's just do a single bed. Just because you're an adult doesn't mean you need a double bed. So single bed, and it honestly ends up looking really cute because it still makes this room rather spacious. I like how I kind of mix and match the rug with this bedding. To me, this bedding, you kind of need more of a neutral colored rug. Just right off the bat, when I think of a rug that I would place in here, I would place something that's more beige or maybe has yellow in it, like you could see I'm placing. But then I end up switching it out for this bright teal kind of color. It's like a seafoam sort of color, which the bed actually has a pop of color in the quilt there. So I felt like it was really good, and it just made the room that much more eclectic, just like the downstairs. And I do place some wall decorations here. I placed a little violin for your sim to maybe gain their, their musical skill, specifically their violin skill, obviously. And I don't know, it just gives your sim another activity to do here. If they, are more of a homebody, they have plenty of things to keep them entertained here, especially if they have a pet or end up having a kid or someone moving into the attic upstairs. I don't know. But here I almost placed a nicer computer, but then I was like, well, look at the TV downstairs. It's an older TV, And maybe this sim doesn't really care to have electronics, but they just have them just in case, they need to order medicine, they need to place an order for something, they want to have a pen pal, because after all, they probably live here alone because of how small the home is. So it's always good to have options for those things, like a computer, of course, or a TV, to just kind of have your sim be a little on the happier side or kind of gain their fun skill a little quicker, things like that. That was just things I like to have in mind. But of course, there's going to be builds in the future where I probably don't place a computer at all. And I wouldn't be surprised if I've already done that. But here we are moving on into the bathroom. And like I said earlier, I imagine that this cottage is rather old. So I placed this kind of older style bathtub shower combo, and also an older toilet in here, and I just felt it was very fitting for a cottage and just like an older home in general. But I do place a hamper here because I'm sure you guys saw earlier, I do place a wash tub and a clothesline outside because this sim definitely doesn't have space for a washer and dryer, nor do they really want one or need one. And here we are moving on up into the attic area where I just placed down an easel and some clutter here, and we're pretty much getting up on the end of the video. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please stay tuned for more videos in the future. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button for sure, and I hope to see you guys in a future build. Bye! If you are new here, hello, thank you for stopping by. I should just probably let you guys know that this is the dumbest intro I've ever had. Like, why can't I just have a normal